So my mother-in-law, soon to be, she doesn't want me to get married to her son, and let me tell you, it's because she's racist. Guys, get this. She actually offered me a large sum of money so I leave her family for good. Well, guess what? I tell her son about it, and we hatch a plan to take the money. And you know what we're going to spend it on?
Hey, my name's Bonnie, and I'll be sharing my story with you. There's a lot going on in my life, and I'm really stressed out. Yesterday, my fiancé Ryan had come over to my apartment. I went into the kitchen to make us coffee. I came back as I'd forgotten my phone, and I saw Ryan going through my phone in a very worried state. It was clear that he was sneaking into my privacy, and I have no idea how he found out my passcode, as I've never shared it with him. I quickly went back into the kitchen before he could see me. I said nothing, not a word, because I needed some time to process the incident. Let me give you guys a background of my story. I met Ryan 2 years ago at a concert. We met through some mutual acquaintances of ours, and we had a great time. We exchanged our numbers and began to chit-chat. We became good friends, and soon our friendship developed into a relationship as both of us fell for one another. I felt like Ryan just understood me like nobody else ever had. I felt so connected to him, and he was always there for me, and I knew that there was nobody else in the world that I could love more than I loved this guy. I always hoped that he felt the same. My hope turned into joy as Ryan proposed to me on our 2-year anniversary. I said yes, and I could not wait to spend the rest of my life with this man. Ryan took me to meet his mom. She was the only family that he had left, and he had been raised by her because his father passed away when he was 5. She had not remarried and had spent her life working and taking care of Ryan. Ryan loved his mother a lot. Of course, I really wanted her to like me. I was very nervous for this first meeting. I dressed well, and I'd asked Ryan about her likings and dislikings, and I just wanted my first impression to be a good one. Ryan kept assuring me that I was acting as if it was some sort of exam or trial. I told him that I felt exactly like it was. It was amusing for him, but I was genuinely concerned. We went to Ryan's house, and his mother had cooked us some really delicious food. She acted very sweet towards me. She made me feel very comfortable, and I was really relieved when I saw her attitude. I was glad that she was not acting coldly, and it was as if she had really accepted me and was willing to welcome me to her family very wholeheartedly. As Ryan dropped me back to my apartment that night, he asked me what I thought about his mom, and I told him that I was a happy camper. Ryan was also glad that I liked his mother. As I went to sleep that night, I was very happy that things were going smoothly for me in my relationship. So, the past few weeks have been hard. I don't remember exactly how it began, but Ryan starts to act really weird. I could sense that something was not right. I'd known him so well, and I could tell that he was up to something. I tried to ask him multiple times, but he just brushed my worries off, saying that it was nothing, and I could feel as if he was lost in some thought. It had never happened before since we had started going out. Ryan used to be the kind of guy who was completely present when he was around me. I never felt unheard or unseen around him. I loved that about him, to be honest. However, this changed in the last few weeks. He missed a lot of things that I told him, and when we were talking, I could see him just zoning out. I knew something must be disturbing him, as it was not how it normally used to be. He refused to tell it was, even though I asked this a lot of times on different occasions, and guess what? 3 days ago, I was telling him about a very funny, embarrassing incident that happened at me at the bus stop. I was expecting him to burst into a laughter as I shared the story, but he did not even crack a smile. I doubted if he had even listened to what I had said. I get a little mad at this point and ask him what the heck is up with him, because he's been behaving like this for a while. Ryan, he tried to skip the question and reflect it by saying that it was nothing. So I asked again, and he said that it was something at his work that was bothering him. That's all. And that was why he has been so absent-minded in our conversation lately. So I pressed him. I want more details. But he said that he would handle it, and it was nothing to even worry himself about. He didn't tell me more about it, so I had no other chance but to let it go. After this, Ryan became very concerned and suspicious about where I was and who I was with. He began to call and text me a lot, which seemed unnecessary at times. It began to look weird, as if he suspected me of doing something behind his back. Even though he never said it in those exact words, but the entire behavior was not normal. I tried to stay patient, but I felt like it kept getting more intense instead of getting better. I began to get really worried thinking about my life. My life ahead of me, and I decided to spend my entire life with this guy. It was going to behave like this? Yeah, it would get torturous and weird. I didn't want this. It scares me. I could not tolerate this for the rest of my life. Ryan needs to stop doing this and let me know what's up with him. Now, okay guys, this weird incident as of yesterday has pushed me to the absolute edge. I know I need to confront him. Going through my phone when I was not around is something an insecure, paranoid, jealous man would do. It feels like he doesn't trust me or he thinks that I'm cheating on him. Why else would he check on my phone? For the weather? He asked me to my face. I would have handed him my phone, and 'cause I have nothing to hide, and I've never been in favor of such secrecy between partners. But this is insulting and this is wrong. This is an invasion, and if he does not trust me, he should not be with me. I'm very uncomfortable and distressed by the scenario, guys. I mean, what should I do? I know I can't let this go because it will create a problem for me. I'll update you guys soon enough. What's up, everybody? Mr. Reddito here. Today's story is one intense one, guys. Don't worry, we're going to check out 2 commenters before we hop into the first update. And if you guys have not taken a second to subscribe to the channel, go ahead, hit that subscribe button because, well, I post daily drama stories and you are not going to want to miss today's story. And, well, it has a couple twists and turns you might not expect. Here's the first comment by Alex21. I read your story, and I'm sorry to hear that your fiancé has been acting so weird with you. It's as if he doesn't trust you or is suspecting you of something. It's extremely wrong of him to behave in such a manner instead of having conversation with you. If there was something in his mind, he should have come to you and talked about it instead of going through your phone without your permission. You should definitely rethink your relationship with him. You should confront him, obviously, but you should also consider the fact that this is his response to the situation and he will definitely keep doing it in the future. Comment number 2 by Liam2. Hey, I'm sorry to hear your story. It was not a good thing your fiancé did by going through your phone behind your back. From what I hear, he's paranoid about something which is making him act like this. Well, you love him a lot and he loves you too. Don't let the relationship be ruined because of this. Guys, just talk. Talk to him politely about it and let him explain his side of the story. Don't think about ending things just because of this. Update number 1. Hey guys, thank you so much for your comments. Getting suggestions and advice is really helpful as it helps one to clear the mind, and I agree with your comment saying that I seriously need to just address the situation at hand. This paranoid behavior is a red flag indeed, and I cannot put up with this attitude for the rest of my days. So, I decided to confront Ryan openly. I was scared that I might get an answer that I would not want to hear. I was scared of getting my heart broken, but I knew that it had to be done or I would just, get into bigger problems. So, guys, I went ahead to gather my courage and texted him, "We need to talk." He came over to the apartment almost right away, and I decided, okay, I'm going to sit you down and we're going to talk about the entire situation. I told him that I'd seen him go through my phone when I've never shared my passcode with him, not even once. And I asked him what he was looking for in my phone, and you know what else? I could see the color in Ryan's face fade as I confronted him. He looked embarrassed as if I just did a crime that I uncovered for him and he's been caught. He stayed silent for a few minutes and finally he had the courage to speak up. And when he did, he said that his mother had told him that I was cheating on him with some guy. So Ryan had trusted his mom so much that she's been able to sow a seed of doubt in his head. He said that it was the reason he's been lost, as he was thinking about it the whole time. He said that he got so possessive and jealous that he kept asking me, "Where am I going?" over and over all the time. Or who I was going to go see. It really hurt me when I heard all this. I mean, why would he do this to me? And most importantly, why did his mother say this about me? I thought she liked me, but she lied about me to her son. Ryan apologized for his behavior, and he was really ashamed of it, it was clear. Well, I was mad about the fact that Ryan had just heard these lies from his mother, and he had become paranoid. He had doubted me without asking me once, and he had not even bothered to have a conversation with me. He had just assumed that his mom might be right and had decided to go through my phone. After finding out my passcode, somehow I said all of it to his face. But Ryan began to apologize a lot. He said that he just did not think about anything. He was so distressed and hurt that he did not know what to do. He said that he was worried that if he asked me about it directly, I would just get mad. He was very ashamed about the fact that he had not been open and direct in this matter. He promised me that he would never hesitate to talk about anything in the future, no matter how uncomfortable it could be for the both of us. So, I forgave Ryan. I did not want to end my relationship because of one mistake. However, my mind was stuck on the lie that my mother-in-law had told Ryan. 3 days after that, I got a call from Ryan when I was in my office. He said that he needed to meet me immediately, so I asked him to meet at the cafe near my office in my lunch break. He was already there when I entered the cafe, and he looked very stressed and anxious. I sat down next to him, and he looked at me and said that we decided to discuss matters and not hide anything from each other. Well, I nodded. He showed me a picture right there on his phone. As I looked closely, I saw it was me with some guy. He was kissing me on the forehead, and I had no idea who the guy was. My mouth dropped. I told Ryan that I've never seen this guy before in my life. Ryan was frowning and thinking, and he finally spoke and said that his mom sent him this picture, claiming that I've been cheating. She's made this claim before as well, and while now she's trying to prove it was such picture. I was really shocked. This was getting out of hand. What the hell did this woman want from me, and why was she always pretending as if she really liked me in front of me? When she was doing such things, I was unable to make sense of it. Ryan was also very, very disturbed. So, I suggested Ryan that for his satisfaction, we can have the picture checked by a professional. It's been fabricated, and it was not my picture. Ryan said that he believed me too, but to confront his mother, it's better to have some proof. So we took the picture to a professional photographer who immediately pointed out that the picture was photoshopped. Duh! Ryan was extremely mad and frustrated. He was really disturbed by the fact that his mother had lied again, and I felt bad for him and wondered if his mother cared about her own son's well-being. She was feeding him lies that were upsetting him, but she didn't seem to care. Ryan said that he would confront his mother and find out the reason behind her acting like this. So I told him, not to do it. I knew that she would just lie to him or be unclear about what she wanted. I know that she's going to just lie to him or hide the reality. She might pretend that she was just making sure that her son does not get hurt. So, I've decided to do it myself. I wanted her to clearly tell me what she wanted. Update number 2. Here is what happened next. As we had decided, I called my mother-in-law and went over to her house. She greeted me at the door in the same smiling way that she did the last time I went to meet her. This time I knew that it was a fake mask. As she invited me in, she asked me if I would like to have some coffee. I told her no, and I said that I just came over there to say something important that I had to discuss with her. She sat down to talk, and I spoke clearly, and I hid nothing. I told her that I knew that she's been lying to Ryan about me cheating. There was no reality in her claims, so why was she doing such a thing? My mother-in-law was so taken back at my bluntness. It was not something that she had expected that I was going to discuss with her. She took a deep sigh and spoke. She said that it was not something that she had control over, but she had done having some objections for me to be her daughter-in-law. She said that she had tried to not feel this way, but she did, and she can't stop it. It was very disrespectful for me, but I had to know. I asked her what the exact problem that she had with me was. Perhaps I could do something about it, and she just stared at me and said, I belong to African origin, and she did not want that in her daughter-in-law. My mouth dropped open as I heard this. I could not believe the words that had come out of my mother-in-law's mouth. Was she being serious? It must be some sort of absurd joke, because this is unbelievable, guys. I was shook to my core. I wonder if Ryan really was her son, because he was such a nice man, and this woman was disgusting on so many levels. I've never interacted with someone like I wanted to just straight up slap her in the face for being so cheap, but it took all my patience to control myself. As if that was not enough. What happened next absolutely baffled me. My mother-in-law said that she would never be able to accept me as her daughter-in-law. There would always be problems and hatred between us, so it's better that I just break off the engagement with her son and leave. The way she spoke was so eerie and weird. I could not believe that there was a human heart inside her, as she was saying the most inhumane things so smoothly, as if it was nothing. Tears formed up in my eyes, and I was left with no strength to keep arguing with her. I told her that I needed to process everything that she just said to me. I left her house crying, and my mind was absolutely numb. I had not imagined that the reason for her not liking me or accepting me would be so cheap and shallow. I did not know what to do next. My brain had just stopped working absolutely completely. Update number 3. Hey guys, this is what happened next. Thankfully, I had recorded my conversation with my mother-in-law. It was not something that Ryan and I had decided together, but I had just done it because I wanted proof to make sure that there was no chance that Ryan won't believe me. I took some time as I cried my heart out. Talking to her has been so draining, I needed to cry. After that, I called Ryan to tell him everything that we discussed. I played the recording so he could hear it with his own ears. Ryan's reaction, it was the same as mine. He was in a state of utter disbelief. He did not want to believe it, but he had listened to everything himself, so he got very, very upset and very angry. He was about to storm out of the house in fury and fight with his own mother over it. However, I managed to calm him down and stopped him from going and lashing out at his mom. I found another way that we can get her back. I suggested my plan to Ryan, and he was on board. He agreed and wanted to do it ASAP. My plan to get back at mother-in-law was to take the money that she had offered me, but I was not going to leave Ryan. I was going to get married to him and spend my life with him. But it was such a good revenge. She would lose the money, and I would still get married to her son. So, I called my mother-in-law, and I told her that I want to meet her and take her offer. She called me to her house again, so I went over. Guys, she went to the safe and handed me a huge sum of money and said that she was grateful that I've made the right decision of getting out of her son's life. She had the audacity to wish me a good life ahead with another boy. I was laughing in my head as I thought about what I was going to do with the money. So I took the money and said goodbye to her. I came back to the apartment and Ryan was already there. Both of us stared at the money that was in front of us, and we could not believe what just happened. I was a little hurt that, she had gone this far to kick me out of her son's life, but that did not matter anymore. I had the money, and I had the love of my life by my side. After discussing, both of us decided to have a grand wedding with the money that we had gotten from my mother-in-law. Earlier, Ryan and I had planned a very small, simple courthouse wedding. We weren't in the favor of spending fortunes on weddings, so we wanted to save money for our little life ahead. But since we had gotten an extra amount of money, we could easily afford a lavish wedding without spending a single penny of our own. We began to plan the wedding festivities. We booked a beautiful hall and the best decorations to go with it. I bought a very expensive wedding dress, and Ryan bought a fancy tuxedo. We invited all of her friends and my family, however. Ryan made the decision of not inviting his mother. I had no say in it, and even though I hated her, she was Ryan's mother. He knew everything about her, and I was not going to say anything more against it. Her reality was evident to everybody, and it was up to Ryan whatever he wanted. He wanted to have the wedding without her. Well, so I was all right with that. We deserve to be happy on the most important day of our life, and nobody should be able to ruin it. We had the best wedding that I could only dream of. From the music to the food to everything, it was perfect. I felt so emotional and so grateful that day, and I'd finally gotten what I'd always wanted. After the wedding was over, Ryan put some of our photographs in an envelope and then sent it to his mom. He was so hurt by his mother, and now he was getting back at her in every way that he could. He knew that those photographs and the realization of not being invited to her own son's wedding was going to hurt her a lot. We got the reaction, and we anticipated this. So his mom showed up at the apartment the very next day. She was extremely mad at us, and she said that she had paid me to get out of her son's life, and I had just gone ahead and married him behind the back without anyone knowing. She said that she wanted me to give her the money back. I smiled and said it's the money we used on the wedding. She was so mad. She began to shout at the top of her lungs at me and call me every bad name you can imagine. So I just silently watched her go all crazy, but it was satisfying to say the least. She deserved every bit of it. She's been horrible to me, and she was a very evil person. At last, I asked her to leave my apartment because I could not tolerate her screaming tantrum anymore. I told her that she needed to clean her brain and think good about people, so she left the apartment reluctantly. When Ryan got home, I told him all about this, and he just nodded and said that he was expecting it. Anyways, I'm just happy about the fact that I married the love of my life, and I got a bit of revenge over the evil woman who had such a shallow thought about me. Not being accepted because of your color or ethnicity, it hurts on so many levels. I thought the world had moved on beyond that, but such people still exist today who judge you on your color of your skin. Update number 4. I told you about getting married to Ryan and taking revenge on my mother-in-law. She had not contacted me nor Ryan after the incident at the apartment. However, a few weeks later, she showed up at the apartment again. We were not expecting it, but she came early in the wee hours of the morning. Ryan opens up the door and she's just standing there. She rushes in and greets me in a very calm manner as if nothing bad has happened between us. I say hi, and she sat down and began to apologize to the both of us. She said that she was extremely sorry for her pathetic behavior, and she realized her mistake. She was in the wrong, so she apologized to me separately, and said that she would be grateful if I forgave her. She was ready to accept me as her daughter-in-law. Okay, I didn't know what to say. Well, I didn't want to say it, but I did. I told her that now I was not ready to accept her as my mother-in-law. Everything that had happened was very traumatic for me, and I needed some time to forgive her and move on, and I wasn't ready for that yet. She said that she was just all right to know that I would consider her apology someday. As she left the house, I began to cry. Ryan consoled me and hugged me, and he said that he totally understood that I did not forgive her, if I was not ready for it. I was so relieved that Ryan could understand how I was feeling. He was not forcing me to move away, and he was letting me have my time. I made it very clear to him that my trust had been shattered, and it was not just going to rebuild itself. His mother had behaved in the same sweet manner when I first met her, and then she did everything that she could to destroy our relationship. I said that it was his mother, and he should forgive her and get things straight with her. But I was not going to have any sort of contact with her unless I felt better about it. Well, Ryan agreed with me and said that I was absolutely right. So I'm okay with Ryan having a bond with his mom, but I don't feel the same way about her now. Well, what do you think?
Alright, so this is the interesting part of today's story. I was reading the comment section, and a lot of people were actually upset, and I was wondering why. They were upset because OP was adding at the end of the story how she's not going to forgive the mother-in-law, not just yet at least, And some people were thinking that that's a little overboard. Look, this woman is old, she knows that she did something wrong, and she's trying to apologize, and you're just being petty at this point. I don't personally agree with those comments because what the mother-in-law did was so toxic, and the way she treats people, it doesn't matter if she just all of a sudden says, "Ooh, I'm sorry." Anyways, I want to know what you guys think. Drop it down below. Are you on the side of the commenters who said that OP should have been more lenient, or do you think there's no room for any leniency here? Guys, my name's Mr. Reddito. I narrate these stories every single day. And if you guys want to be a part of these daily drama readings, consider subscribing. I'd say last time I checked, only about 25 or 26% of viewers are actually subscribed to the channel. So take a second, hit that subscribe button, guys. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow. And of course, remember, it's cool to be kind. See ya.